Miss Chloe, I'm ready when you are.
Awesome. Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Chloe Dial, and I'm with the loss control team at National Interstate and Vanliner Insurance. We offer innovative solutions for a variety of commercial transportation industries. We have a long-standing relationship with Avatar. And for those of you that are insured with us, just a reminder, you are eligible for a discount on Avatar solutions. So thank you for having us today.
Chloe, thank you. And thank you for the long-standing partnership. And not only part of the reason they've chosen to partner with us is we both have a common value, and that is how can we reduce some bullshit in y'all's lives. And that's a little bit of the theme today is how can we eliminate some of that BS so you can go do what you're supposed to be doing, which is mitigating risk or bringing the right people in the company. And National Interstate has known for a long time that if you got the wrong person behind the wheel, you're increasing your risk. And so if you're in a captive or some form of alternative risk, you have a higher exposure out there than the average bear. So the right person behind the wheel is really important. And then once you have the right person behind the wheel, coaching them and keeping them to be performing at a high level is critical because it just takes one bad day or one bad decision to blow up your entire year, to blow up your entire loss pick. And so that's why we're aligned together and have been for quite some time. And the discussion today is what is cooking in our kitchen in terms of AI? What are some things we're seeing out there? And I'm going to look at some generative AI. That's what the cool kids are cranking on. And then some old school, but just as, those old school Motown jams of automation that still hit and frankly, maybe have more impact in your world that may have less of the sex appeal, but just as much impact. So without further ado, we're going to get cranking here. And so why we title this Do Less Tasks to Give More Love is this is a tool. Now, software is a tool. Generative AI, I would say, is an assistant. And it is more than a tool because it is thinking. And I'm going to show some examples of what thinking looks like for you. And that's where I would say you're going to not trust, but verify. And on the tool, right, that's making you more effective. So let's jump into some of the things in the kitchen of what we're cooking. So I'm saying with kitchen, that's a pretty good segue to what AI is good at. So here's some examples of what's going on in the outside of transportation that you can use to think about what's going on in your business. And how we looked at it was we studied y'all's business and we said, what's going on over there at a motor carrier where there's automation, prediction, and personalization? Where do you have a bunch of data that is consistent and steady that we could go do something fun with? And so here's an example that Domino's tried to solve was bad orders, meaning you order pepperoni, but you got mushrooms and you hate mushrooms. What they're doing is matching the order on the receipt to what comes out of the oven. And it'll say, hey, flag on the play, that is mushrooms, that is not pepperoni. And so it stops the problem. It's much quicker to go make another pizza than to actually deliver the pizza, tick off the customer, and then have to go make it again and do that. That's way more expensive. So catching it at a better choke point. We have a 9-month-old at home now, Mr. Henry, and he is still in diapers, haven't trained him yet. And well, I don't go to the bar anymore. And so what I will do though is buy a case of beer when I'm buying diapers. But I'm sleep deprived. And so I forget sometimes. And what they did was for those poor sleep deprived dads was put beer next to the diapers. Why did they do that? Because they saw that pattern of diapers and beer were commonly in shopping carts because you're not going to the bar. And so by putting beer next to the diapers, a pattern that humans never would have put together, that increased beer sales for sleep deprived dads out there. Pretty cool. And then personalization. You all have bought something online, whether it's Amazon or you went to Target and you got the personalized receipt. And it's, again, looking at patterns that humans may not see, or you step back and you can see it after you understand it. And so this is an old story that a teenage daughter was checking out with her dad, and Target suggested that the teenage daughter, who was at 14, needed diapers and wipes. And the dad was none too happy that the algorithm was proposing that to his daughter, and he had raised some heck with the manager, who had to apologize and say, that's not good, that's wrong. Turns out she was there 2 weeks earlier buying a a pregnancy test and then came back and got prenatal vitamins. You don't buy prenatal vitamins if you're not pregnant. And so the algorithm knew before dad knew. And that's the kind of thing. What can an algorithm know before you know? What can an algorithm predict that you can't quite see the pattern? Or what is a reoccurring problem that keeps happening? So that was the lens we went to looking at and studying y'all's sites. And some people that have been with us have seen some of these updates. And then I'm going to update y'all on some scoreboard items and then also share what's latest in Avatar Labs. So the one thing that AI is not good at is the personal touch, right? I asked it for a picture of two people hugging. It slid in a third arm there for no reason, right? It's not good at it. And so this is not to suggest that that human connection. What we are proposing is take away the stuff that's mundane, repetitive data entry that is not the personal touch. Let's take that off your plate so that you can go give the personal touch, because you're better at AI than a personal touch. And that's going to be the case for the foreseeable future. And so what gets in the way of you giving more of the personal touch is you've got too many jobs. And so we talk with a lot of people that sit in each spot here. They have each one of these roles and responsibilities. Ideally, and some of the bigger companies have a specialist in each spot, but it's really you, and you're doing all these tasks. And what that means is you might be balancing all the plates, you're trying to keep them spinning, but inevitably one or two falls off because you're running around trying to keep them going. So what do you do about it? Well, ideally you would go find someone, but again, the boss ain't hiring you assistant or isn't giving you another body. And so, but you're asking yourself, hey, I'm spending more dollars than you want. Are you wasting time with unqualified candidates? Are you spending more than 5 hours in orientation doing paperwork? So it's gonna be 2 hours in orientation doing paperwork. Are you going to multiple systems? Are you spending more time than you want on data entry? And so we looked at those and we heard those problems over and over and over again. And so I'm going to share is how we're starting to chisel away at those. And the idea was, well, how could we give you an assistant? How can we give you an assistant to take some of the stuff off your plate and give you half a day back? And what we've heard, and through someone that is on the line, I'm going to thank him again for this testimonial, that Evan Anderson, who is not afraid to get in there and mix it up and play with new toys, said, hey, this is kind of hard to calculate. It's kind of saving you 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there, 15. But at the end of the day, it's about a half a body. And then accurately points out, what are you going to go do with it? What are you going to go do with that time? So I'm going to propose a couple of suggestions of what are you going to go do with that time. That's really what you should think about. Or what are the things stacking up that you wish you were doing that you aren't doing? How could you go tackle some of these challenges of filling seats, bringing it home safely, be a better risk manager? So going down the line, we said, okay, what were the big areas? And we sat and we watched y'all, and we saw that these were some of the buckets that kept coming up of time suckers. So screening candidates. Said nobody ever, I need more candidates, right? You need more qualified candidates. And there's just people come in, interrupt your day. What were you doing? And they delivered for Domino's. They're not even they don't even live where you live, yet that interrupted the task you were working on. Punching names, phone number, emails in between systems when you hire someone. And simple errors, right? We heard a 0 where an O should be, and that person didn't get paid for 30 days. So now you have a new employee, just because of data entry, doesn't get paid, and you're asking them to be a volunteer. Now they just don't trust you, even though it was an honest mistake, right? They're always like, well, what's next? What else? So these simple things have big impacts. So let's go down the line and show what we're thinking of how we can automate those and give you your new assistant. So step one is, we're going through different phases of automation of unqualified candidates. And what I want to show today was, are you missing out on quality people like one of our customers was? And listen to this. This was a call in.
Please hold while I try to connect you.
From a customer. This is a real live person. And they seem to be pretty qualified. Oops. I thought I could fast forward. We're gonna have to listen to it again, sorry.
Please hold while I try to connect you. Call has been forwarded to the voicemail for Bart Corbett. No one is available to take your call. At the tone, please record your message. When you've finished recording, you may hang up or...
So that's the experience that we're giving people. And they get the voicemail, they leave us a message, and we don't call them back. And at the same time, we aren't be able to respond on social media. And so the challenge that we have here is you've got too many people going through the system. You can't keep up. And the result is you're not able to keep up with the Joneses. And so as leads come flying through, you're missing out on qualified people. And I'm gonna do here is hit pause real quick. And give me a hot second, y'all. And action. All right, we're back. Sorry for the technical delay here. So let's get back to our buddy here. So we can't keep up. We're missing people through the cracks. And so what we thought was, how can we help answer this? And so we've created a bot based on job descriptions and frequently asked questions. And so we started answering the phone. And I want to give you an example of people are having a good experience with the bot, only to understand that they're forgetting that they're talking with the bot by the time they get there. And so here's what a good looks like.
Thank you. Let me pass this to the recruiters. They'll call you back within a day to discuss more. Sorry, I can't be more helpful right now.
That's okay. Have a good day, man. Thank you.
You too, John. Take care.
Yeah, be sure to go vote.
Absolutely.
We love that. Be sure to go vote. So that was on election day. And what that tells us is that's a good experience. And the reason I shared with you the old school phone voicemail jail that candidate went through was because we don't get back to them. In fact, we marked that candidate as unresponsive, the previous one. So now we're getting a vetter for us, because let's be real, if we gave you a pile of 100 names, 25 are qualified and 75 aren't worth your time, yet you need to talk to all 75 or comb through the resume to figure that out. And so what we've done is train this based on people's jobs, people's locations, and their frequently asked questions. And here's what a qualified lead for a little example of a team outfit that we did. So that 2X hires, I'm going to give you a soundbite of what that sounds like.
Thank you. Are you aware this is a team's driving position? If so, are you already part of a team, or would you need to be matched with someone?
Need to be matched with someone.
Okay, thank you for that. Do you have a Class A CDL?
Yes, sir.
Got it. Thank you. Are you at least 21 years old?
Yes, sir.
Great. Do you have a minimum of 1 year of OTR experience?
No, sir. I have a minimum of 6 months experience.
Understood. I'll make a note of that for the recruiters. Just a few more quick questions.
So you can hear we're getting good detail on this. That person you heard there actually fit the profile for the customer. And so we were able to match him with another team driver that was also single rated mingle. And we put them together and they're still driving. And that's the point, was this person used to go to voicemail and now we're qualifying them and putting them together. And so if you're interested in that, here's the invitation for people on this webinar today, is if you want to try it out and do your own experiment, that we just need one of two things. If you give us the job description and the FAQs that your team are using, or you can give us recordings of your real calls and we can back into it that way and reverse engineer and really hear what are the conversations so that we can steer it. So if that's of interest to you, that's what we need to get going. So contact your client success manager if you're a customer. If not, hit up your avatar person and I'll show some other ways you get involved at the end of this presentation. So as we go on and go down the hiring process into onboarding, what we saw was there's a lot of people making the same decisions over and over again. should I order an MVR on this person? Well, my eyes are trained to look at the MVR and make that decision. Should I order the PSP? Let me go see. Should I order the background check? And many times this was a black and white, yes, no binary situation. And so for all the places where there's no gray, right, it's black or white, that we're proposing that this should be auto ordering, let the avatar assistant do it for you. And here's the why. Let's give you back 5 minutes on this, of this making those decisions. If someone lives in the radius that you hire them in, if they have the right endorsements, experience, license class, you're the person that has to go click the button. But if there's a, hey, this is a green light, go run that MVR. And if that MVR comes back with your preset parameters of no moving violations, no DUIs, a valid license in that state, go ahead and order the PSP. We're going to do it anyways. Same thing with the PSP. If you have that scoring, then go ahead and order the background check. These are all decisions that are going on your algorithm. So everyone that's green means go, pass first base, second base, third base. Just let it happen. And then if there is a flag on the play of a moving violation on the MVR, don't order that PSP, right? And set it up that way. So start to think about like, well, do you really need to be clicking the button every time? Do you really need to? Because it's already going on in your head of making these decisions. Just focus on the exceptions, not the no-brainers. So similarly, things that were fun for us and are going to be changing here at the end of June is the FMCSA Federal Medical Registry site. And so what I'm highlighting on screen is the ability to read what's going on the medical cards. And then the bot actually goes to the site. It punches in the number, the medical number that it actually saw there. I'm highlighting that. That's a confidence score. So it said, hey, we looked at the expiration date. We're feeling pretty good, 97%. And we're feeling 98% confident we actually got the national registry number. It took that number, it went into the FMCSA site, it punched it and took a screenshot so you could prove it later. The question mark is at the end of June, what's going to change? And it's going to, it's going to live on the MVR. And, we're getting some people are predicting, are the states and the medical examiners actually going to be, how well connected are they? And I think we're all, when dealing with the government and remembering the clearinghouse, it's yeah, we'll believe it be smooth when we see it. So in the beginning, we're proposing recommend keep this, kind of trust but verify. Let's give them a shot. And then if it doesn't go as smooth as it does on a government rollout like the clearinghouse, you've got your backup system here. And then when it does happen, you'll see for the one we've got ordering the MVRs on this page. And we're going to keep that because you need to run the MVR so that you can see that and verify that on the record. So that's the guidance we're giving just from living through the clearinghouse a couple of years ago. Hey, we'll see it when we believe it, government. Thank you very much. And in the meantime, you've got this to prove it out. But in one screen, you can verify that registry, that number's there, and order that MVR. And when we say 87% accuracy, our scoreboard is that we're saying no touch. So if this 9 was actually an 8, you could go in and edit that. Well, we're calling that a not accurate. You needed to edit it. But I would submit that editing a 9 to an 8 is much better than having to type the whole thing. So other things that we've done is reading licenses. So no rule change there. The idea is put this up early in the process. What a driver used to have to type in, they don't have to anymore. We can read that, extract it, right? Let's get their address there. And then let's say they moved. They can update their address, right? It gives them the ability to do so. And then you can see that difference. You're asking them for endorsement, but as opposed to asking them, let them show it to you and prove it. Now you can be certain. And these are all things happening that we're recommending happening. Move it early up in the process. So if you're an existing customer, you may want to take a look at your hiring checklist and reordering it based on the new automation that we have available for you. A oldie but a goodie is auto ordering MVRs. And when I say oldie, I'm talking about old school automation. No generative AI here, just simple rules. And this is where I'm telling you there's some bang for your buck on some old school automation that has big impact on the business. And so what we're doing is within your dashboard, you're going to see upcoming expirations, right? They're going to have 2 flavors. One the driver has to do, one you have to do. An MVR you have to do. And so why order button? Why click a button to order it? Why not set up the system to auto order the MVR? And when that MVR is ordered, giving you a score. And so that's what you're seeing on the screen is if you see a 0, you can sleep well at night. No moving violations, no DUIs, valid license. Go ahead, hit acknowledge to satisfy the regulation. That will go magically in the DQ folder. You're done. If there is an exception here, which let me bring it back, be John Madden on the telestrator. So if you see a 15 here on the score, what that's going to tell you is, hey, there's an issue here. Go take a look at that. That's where we want to draw your attention. And then what we've done with our friends and partners over at Samba Safety is pulling their information, presenting it to you right here on the screen so you can digest it and make a decision. The decision is, hey, is this corrective action? Is this a termination, serious? Or is this a data queue situation, right? Was there something that was turned up in error that we want to go fight? We don't know, but we're giving you the information to go make the decision and giving you the time back so you can go do what you need to do with those options. Our customers, I hope you're not raising your hand, you're still using paper. Those are not customers. We have some people sheepishly admit that they still have paper in their lives. Look, if it's a piece of paper, we can digitize for you. If it needs to have a signature, fill in the form, please just no more paper in 2025. If you have it, can you just make yourself a late New Year's resolution? You'll be glad you did. I heard once elegantly put in a users conference when I was hanging out with Evan, his partner, Ben O'Day at Initech, was that, what really sucks is typing in a name, phone number, email address into 6 systems when you hire someone. And so what we're doing is compiling the list of what our customers use in terms of telematics. So Samsara, Geotab, Motive, etc., Salcon, and the list of payroll providers, of which is long. And looking at those 2 things is where we're really prioritizing and starting, and then the TMS space of your dispatching and saying, how can we hook it up? So based on your provider and what you're doing, look, we've got the endpoint and the API to move the data. I'm using Evan's name because he was helping us think through passing the data is easy. Playing the which data wins game is hard. And so those are where thought is being put in to make sure we don't override something that will make you mad later on. So that's just the thought that's going in. So easy to push data back and forth in the systems, and then I'm not going to say hard, just got to be thoughtful so that you don't override the right thing. So if that's of interest to you, we need a provider and an API key, and that'll get the party started. And then obviously it varies based on who is the other party that we're integrating with. But let's stop the 0 to 1, the O and the 0 payroll issue, and let's solve the, what really sucks. But if we can solve that, that'll be a good 2025. Hanging out with safety people, directors that have HR and safety in the same spot, or 2 directors playing nice, better together in the sandbox. And what we saw was a lack of right information at your fingertips or a bunch of spreadsheets in order to get there. And so what we launched last quarter was a dashboard to put that all in one spot. And for our compliance people in the room, something similar to what you're used to acting on of do not dispatch, please don't put them on the road. Also enter in integration of your TMS. So your safety people can sleep well at night. Hey, we're not putting someone on the road that has an expired license, MVR, etc. Going here, the upcoming expirations, all the functionality of texting and alerting drivers is the same. It just puts it on one spot that you're looking at what your total company compliance and your recruiting data. So we've broken out do not dispatch and company compliance as 2 different items. And what we heard from y'all was there are the FMCSA F391 DQ file. And there's things that you have that are important to you of customer trainings. There are things important to you, vehicle trainings, whatever's going on in your world. And that's the company side. So you may not, and what we've learned from friends like National Interstate is the worst thing you do is make a policy, make a rule, and not follow it. And so don't not follow your own rules. How about that for double negative? So follow your own rules, and this tells you if you're doing that. And that's the idea behind that feature. And then for the people that have HR recruiting responsibilities, like what you want to know is are you trending in the right direction? Are you bringing them on what's going on month to month? And what are you spending in order to do it? And you'll see here the filters of location, position, job. You know, I live by trying to keep it simple. What is your cost per hire by job, by location? And that will tell you. And people in our neck of the woods know that Cleveland and Columbus are way different markets in terms of finding drivers, even though they're only 2 hours apart. And so when you're building your campaigns or planning what you need to fill a seat, you got to have that in there. And then you can break down here of Avatar Assist to let you know what is the amount of time that you're saving. What are you offloading to an assistant? So with the time we have left, let's dream a little bit, y'all, about what do you do now that you have a half a person back? And way back in the day when I was first going this industry, a partner of mine, Mark Gardner, said compliance is not safety. You have to do compliance, but it's not risk management. It's not preventing the next accident from happening. It's just following the rules. Good rules, you should do it. But one thing I've heard from Chloe's team at National Interstate is coach more drivers. That is why they're subsidizing different telematics providers. And the thing that gets in the way of you coaching more drivers is time. And so that's why we partner together, so that if we can automate the BS, you can go coach more drivers. And what we've seen is customers that have done that have proven their accidents per million miles fall off a cliff. And so while growing the fleet, so it mitigates the risk of, well, if we grow, you know, some processes are going to be loose and we'll get it and we'll have more exposure. No, you can do both. You can have your cake and eat it too. You can grow your fleet and reduce your accidents per million miles if you eliminate the BS, so that you can go and put energy behind coaching. And then a final piece here that we're looking for some input in as a part of Avatar Labs is how can we help you with incident management? And we've been collaborating behind the scenes with National Interstate. And there's been two problems we'd like to solve. The first is helping you gather information at the scene quickly. And then the second is managing the claims to the ground once you've got National Interstate involved. And so what we're thinking about here on the left-hand side is a mobile site. So no matter if it's 3 in the morning, 2 in the morning, or 2 in the afternoon, that this is your checklist. This is to make sure that you've got the information you need to triage and determine how fast you need to run. And so to collect the information at the scene, a little yes, no, is anybody hurt? Who are we assigning this to? And then sending, we've heard by accident binders, or excuse me, in the binder in the vehicle, in the bus or the truck, that this is what you need to do. But a driver's sweaty. The accident just happened. They're nervous. Send them a what to do in 140 characters or less of go get pictures. And when you think you're done getting pictures, take 100 more so that you can get those. And they text them back to you. You on your phone can push them in there. A silly problem is the file is too large. This is a video from Samsara or Motive. I can't do anything with this. Compressing that so you can easily send it to National Interstate, from the phone. That's the vision here. And we built this based on the FNLO, the first notice of loss form from National Interstate. On the right-hand side, this is when you have a minute to get back to your desktop, you've got more details in view. And so thank you to folks on this call from National Interstate and our customers that have shaped what goes into these details. And again, we don't want you in the moment entering information on that FNLO form that we already know, such as your insurance policy. What can we pull and remove from data entry? And then putting on your risk management hat. So at the end of the month and you're closing it out, what are the total incidents? What's the cost? And drilling into what's open and going to manage that. So what we did was study people's spreadsheets that they're using to manage today, create the common denominator here, and put it on one page so that, following the old adage, if you can't manage what you can't measure, this to help you manage what you're measuring in terms of insurance, in terms of each claim and incident. So with that, this is my invitation to y'all. If you want to join Avatar Labs and help us build out incident management, which the V1, the beta will be released on July 12th. So look, if you want to get involved in that beta, sign up. And the assistant recruiter sending us that job location, the FAQs and the job description, or some recordings, if you want to try that out as a part of it, we have that invitation. And I know that there was a couple questions submitted ahead of time. Hey, is this included in the cost of everything? And the answer is yes. Our mindset of going with the unlimited model of you pay one price, you get this included. We'll have some caps, especially on the Robo Recruiter to pay the ChatGPT token gods. But if have a subset of that, what we're going to do is a reasonable number that you need for your size, and if you need to go hog wild in a month, right? That's the mission for it. So, Mr. Mark Wayner, I'm at time here. Is there any other questions I can answer that came through?
Yep, absolutely. One actually is pretty simple for you, Scott. It was, what exactly does Avatar do? Just a general statement for those out there who may not know.
In 3 words, recruiting compliance training, and a little bit more. It's focused on software and services on each one. So the software is the foundation to manage driver recruiting compliance training. And then if you need help, guys like yourself will come out and help build marketing campaigns. We got people that actually answer the phones. We got people that would audit files for you. People that would train the trainers and come out and train your driver trainers. So use the tool and use this as an extension of your team if you need us.
Nice. Are there any limitations to Avatar's Avatar Assistant product that's out there right now?
Well, sure, there's limitations. Anything specific? I mean, what I'm showing is the specific use cases of which we're hiring. Is it in terms of the upper limits of how many times you can use it in a month?
Correct. That's exactly right.
Got it. Except for the Robo Recruiter, no. We're baking that all in, and the assistant recruiter is frankly new. So jump on it early, and you'll probably get a Scotty Ray of Sunshine friendly special because we're still figuring out what that looks like.
Great. Antonio asked the question, does the hire and fire feature integrate with ADP Workforce Now?
Ooh, fun one. You picked the software that we use, Workforce Now. Antonio, we are in the middle of that now. We have wrestled ADP down with another customer. I'll just say, so we've done it once, and my qualifier is ADP can be tough to work with, but we've done it and we can do it again.
Great. If there are any other questions, we'll leave another couple of minutes here for folks to answer that or to ask them.
Well, I'll leave it with this. To get involved is if you include the Avatar Labs tab, we'll be watching that. And I really am curious of what interests you between the two or anything else we talked about today. Not only will this tell me who to send you with to work with, but these are stuff that I'm watching near and dear. So I am curious about what piqued your interest and if you want to get involved. So I'm ready to play ball with whoever wants to play in the sandbox with me.
Great. I think that's all the questions here.
Well, thank you all for spending valuable time with me. Hopefully it was helpful. And for all those that helped us get here and build what we build today, I appreciate every one of you.